Welcome back to the True Potential Women's Summit, where ambitious women can overcome anxiety and self-doubt, communicate with confidence, and receive the loving and connection and significance that they desire. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Elizabeth Hernandez Stomp, and she is a transformational coach. She is a very wise woman in the realm of spirituality. And I think she is going to share with us how we can really step into our greatness in a much more powerful way and really embrace the wholeness of all of us as women. So thank you so much for being on today's call.
Thank you so much for the invitation. And I just have to say, I'm honored. So thank you so much, Andrea. I mean, for me, this is wonderful. I love this conversation, and I hope everyone that is listening can benefit and can take some nuggets of wisdom and apply it in their lives. So I'm very honored and very grateful.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about your journey. I know it's a very interesting one around your connection with spirituality, with source, with the divine, with your inner guidance system. Can you talk a little bit about that? And also maybe I'll hold off on the next question, and then I'm sure we'll get there.
All right. So I have been an artist and actress for more than 25 years, right? And I want to say that aside from that, I always felt spirit around me. It's very hard to explain, but I always felt protected. I always felt loved. And I can say that I started having what we consider now mystical experiences when I was a child. But I'm a human. I was living my human life and I was going about my career, which was acting. I wanted it to be a creative and self-expressed and dance and model and do all of those beautiful things. But also I had that stirring in my heart because of the experiences that I had. I was always a seeker in a way. And I was very fortunate to grow up in a household where all religions were inclusive.
Oh,
And
right.
yes, I was very, very fortunate. And I used to see my dad having a beautiful altar with beautiful goddesses. And on Sunday, I went to church with my mom.
Ah,
So yeah, so I love that I had that, but I was a seeker. I was a seeker from a very young age, and it wasn't long ago when I had a direct experience with someone that I was doing her makeup. Yeah, because I moved to LA. Let me backtrack a little bit. So I was doing my acting, and I moved to LA, right? Because that's the dream of many people going from small hometown Puerto Rico. I moved to Miami, did wonderful acting and theater, and then I decided to move to Los Angeles. So while being here, I decided to, while going into one audition to the next, I was doing makeup job. It was wonderful, just a great way to make money
right.
and be with women and empowering women through their makeup. So I remember very distinctively this encounter that I had with a beautiful, beautiful lady. I was trying to do her makeup, and she didn't allow me to put the mirror up to her face because, well, when you're doing makeup, you have to have the client to hold the mirror so she can see herself and see if she likes it or not. And I was trying so hard to put the mirror on her hand so she can look at herself. And I will put it up and she will bring it down. And I will put it up and she will bring it down. And at one moment, I grabbed both of her hands, put the mirror up, and I see right through her eyes. She saw right through my eyes. And that's when I felt her pain, her anguish, of feeling not good enough, not beautiful enough. And let me tell you, she was beautiful physically. I'm sure she was wonderful inside as well. But that was the moment for me when I saw that woman's eye. That was a pivotal moment because I went back home and I said to my husband, I don't feel the desire to do Hollywood anymore. I don't want to be an actress anymore. I don't know what happened. Something got stripped away from me. That desire of more than 25 years pursuing this career. And I felt that my calling, for the first time, I truly felt the calling of being of service to people, of
Got
empowering women.
goosebumps. Got goosebumps.
of
Yes.
of empowering women and have them not only see themselves beautiful on the outside, but it's an inside job. And that day I said, that's it for acting. I no longer want to reach Hollywood stars. I just want to reach people's hearts. And I want to
I
release
love
that.
that.
So,
I love that. I think that's beautiful. And I think so much, it reminds me actually of a personal story myself where,
mm,
my first job out of college was this high, you know, profile, significant job, and you want to do a good job and feeling confident, like you can do
yeah.
it and enthusiastic and I'm going to help people and make a positive impact. And then this flood of anxiety coming in and self-doubt and am I good enough or am I going to mess up and how all of that can just consume you and then
Mm,
send you on this trajectory of workaholism or perfectionism or proving your worth and I would imagine that the acting industry is very similar in that respect,
it's very
constantly
simple.
being challenged and evaluated and being in that ego space that really blocks our connection from our truth, which is our true essence, our beauty, our gifts, and our spirits and our talents, and just holding on to that. And that
Mm-hmm.
can be very challenging when you're not conscious or when you're just trying to do your best and get caught up in proving that
Mm-hmm.
you lose touch with, and for me, it was this moment of like connecting within and being like, of love, like bringing some love to those vulnerable places.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, like when you help people's hearts, when you help uh, serve people in that way, can you tell me a little bit about how you work and what what that looks like, so that it can be really relevant for people listening?
Yeah. So I have my clients to take an assessment because I want to see where they're at on an unconscious level, right? Because we operate mostly from the unconscious. So I want to see what is the lens that they're seeing themselves through. What's the lens that is coloring their world? For me, that's extremely important. And then we go from there. I want to see their values. I want to see how do they feel about themselves? How do they feel about self-love? When we talk the topic self-love, that's a huge one, self-love,
Mm,
because we grow up self-hating,
mm,
right? And maybe unintentionally. It's just that society, probably where we grow up, you know, the situation in our home, perhaps. There's many different layers. It's very, I'm sure you see that in your work. There's many different layers to this work.
right.
You have to see economics. Where did they grow up? The influence that their parents had in them. So we looked at all of those things, and then we start peeling the layers back. There's a lot of peeling layers back when we do this work, and finding really the seed where that belief is held, where when the self hate started. Who was that person? Why did you felt that you were not good enough?
Mm,
So it's a lot of peeling back and uncovering and touching those tender places that many people they don't want to go there because it's very painful. And who wants to go back to that
mm,
pain? Because this pain feels like death. It
mm,
feels like death, and people fear death.
mm.
So we have a very distorted relationship with death. And also, when we are going back to those painful memories and wounds, it can also feel like death. So
But
it's
also keeping them stuck can
it's
also feel like death.
like death, all of
Slowly.
that. Thank you. Yes, a slow,
Killing the
yeah,
life force from us.
and the
Sucking the life
life force.
force. The true life
Yes,
force from
the
us.
true life force. So all of these things. So I go way, way, way back, and I go deep. I love going deep. Instead of going more back, I like to go deep and just hold one belief at a time and peel the layers, and then really infusing that with self-love and self-compassion and understanding and shifting perspective, because many times it's just a shift in perception. It gets you back on track and say, hey, oh, I can look at this in a different way. And that's when you start taking the right steps towards that which you want to manifest or bring into your life. So there's many different angles to this self-development and self-awareness and high consciousness and awakening and all of that.
Right. Yeah, and I know for myself in that moment, like I just surrendered and was feeling like my heart was hurting. It was almost like, you know, my truth was being strangled, you know, with proving. And I mention this again just because I think a lot of people, maybe this story can resonate with some of the women on the call, is that there was this moment where I liberated myself and just embraced the vulnerability and just said, I got your back. Like
Yeah.
I love you. I'm here. I know you're scared. I know you feel alone,
And
but
can
I'm
I talk
here.
about staying in the present?
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
please.
So, right, in my work, I see so many women staying stuck in things that happened 20 years ago, or 5 months ago, or 3 hours ago. We have this tendency of holding on, of latching from those negative feelings because it's serving a purpose. And detaching from that, even detaching from that is painful. It's painful what we're going through, but it's painful detaching from that. And just cultivating detachment is so important, that whatever happened in the past should stay in the past. It's weight that you carry around, and it doesn't allow you to move forward. It doesn't allow you to have clear thinking. It's very dragging. It's dragging tons of rocks in your back, if you will, when we stay in a situation that happened even 30 minutes ago. We need to cultivate presence. God is fine. It's founded in presence, in right here, right now. That's when you have the space to reach for that inner point that we have, that inner self. That's when you can reach the inner self. It's by staying present. That's where you can find this space, and that's when you can hear your intuition, and you can hear God, and you can hear your thoughts. But most importantly, you can hear your heart. It's just by staying in the presence and just thinking that whatever happened in the past was there to teach us a lesson,
Mm-hmm.
that we need to learn to move forward, um, forgive ourselves and forgive others. And it was just a moment in time. It's not the entirely of your life. It's just a moment in time. And as long as you keep carrying those weights, you're not going to move forward. You're just going to stay stuck.
Mm-hmm. So how can a woman liberate herself and get unstuck and really honor the present of the present?
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, I like that. Oh, how can we do that? Staying, just honoring the silence that lives within you. We are silence, we are space. And if we take a minute and we sit and we breathe, nothing in your mind, just sitting still, and you honor the beingness that you are in that moment, and you listen to what your intuition has to say, that's the first step to start moving in the right direction, which is moving forward and not staying stuck. Is just allowing yourself, surrendering. Okay, this is what's happening in this moment. All right, what can I do about this situation right now? Is it something that I can proactively work on in this moment, or this is something that I need to oversee for the future? And if it's something that you cannot handle in the moment because there's other variants and points that it's out of your control or your reach, then just surrender to that. Because we women, we want to fix everything. We just want to
Or
go
do all of it. Try
and do
to
all
try to
of it.
fit a gallon in a Dixie cup.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And go,
And
go,
like
go.
burning ourselves out.
Thank you, right? And we want
Oh.
to the children and attend to this and attend to that.
Whew.
No, just pause. There's so much beauty when you pause. Just pause and look at your eyes. Just feel your breathing in your chest, in your heart, and just smell yourself. Just hold your hands, the palm of your hands, and just put it in your chest, and just touch yourself and just enjoy that moment. and breathe and pray if you have to pray or meditate and just take a moment. And that's the space that we need to make decisions, to move forward, to listen to that intuition so we can actually take action on something that we've been looking towards or working on. It is silence, breathing, love, and space.
I'm just going to give a little bit of space to that because hallelujah, it being able to actually sit in that is so necessary and something that is the last on the to-do list.
We never have time, right?
Right, I don't have time to sit still. What are you talking about? I have like 5,000 things to do. If I sit still, I'm not going to get to that. But actually, go ahead. I know you're going to say something juicy here. Go for it.
That's the irony. When you take the space, that's when you find the time to do everything else. Because when you're going, you feel constricted.
Yes.
Right? So you can't fit anything else. That's it. You feel constricted, nothing is coming. Nothing more is coming. You can't do anything else. But if you allow the space to be and you take a moment, even if it's in the bathroom,
Yeah.
then you can cultivate the space for everything else. And it feels relaxing and abundant, and it feels joyful, and it feels, the universe, because that's what we are.
And I think that expansiveness through our breath, utilizing our breath, being able to slow down, we may realize that if we had stayed on the trajectory of the hamster wheel of doing, we would have done a bunch of things, but they wouldn't have been the important things. And I
That's
think
right.
sometimes by actually setting the tone, by being still and listening and creating that space, we may find that, like, wait a second, that thing that I want to do is too big and I need to break it down, or I need to stretch it out, or I need to postpone it, or I need to just do these two important things because, cuddling my daughter right now is the number one important thing. So whatever that
It's
other thing is, and we have to get still enough to actually listen to what our heart is telling us. Because our mind is going to tell us all sorts of things that are going to say, oh, got to do. And our heart is going to say how to be, and enjoy and be in that expansive space. So what are some of your practices that you do that allow that cultivation with divine wisdom, guidance, and to discern between opportunities and distractions? What sort of things do you cultivate so that gets, rather than the other habit, that this
Yes.
becomes the new habit and that we step into our greatness from that place?
Thank
A
you.
little
That's a
bit about
beautiful
that.
question. Yes, I sit still. I sit still. I close my eyes. It's very simple, but it's very, very effective. I close my eyes, I pray, I set an intention, and I just sit there. And if something comes through that I feel that I need to pay attention, I pay attention to it. Or if there's thoughts, I just really let them go. It's something that we need to cultivate on a daily basis because it's not easy. There's so many things in our mind that we think are priority, but they're actually not. Like you say, talking about the one thing, which is in this case, for example, being with your daughter, with my son, that's the one thing. For everything else, there's time and there's space. So if you wanna cultivate that, is sitting, praying, meditating. I use music as well. I love music and I love inspirational music. You can do that. It's a way of relax. Not only relaxing. I don't like the word relaxing. I don't like the word relaxing, but uh,
How come? How come?
well, um, that's yeah, because space is our natural way of being, And relaxing is the opposite of going, 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 going. And you know, when, for example, when someone says, let's, the war against drugs, for example,
Mm.
for me, it's relaxing. It's, I don't want to, maybe it's a bad example,
Mm.
but,
Uh-huh.
but relaxing is, I don't like the word relaxing because it implies that
That
you're going,
something's
going,
wrong.
going, going. Yes, exactly.
That something's
Yes.
too intense.
Yes, something is too intense. So it implies something.
And probably like the war on drugs, it means like this is a problem. And so then where our source is connected to the problem rather than the solution. Am I getting
Exactly.
you right?
Yes, yes,
Okay. I'm like, I'm
yes.
picking up what you're laying down. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
So let's see. So what would be a more appropriate term of, is it surrender? Is it allowing?
yeah, surrender, allowing, beingness.
Being. Okay.
Beingness, yes, beingness. So music bring you to that state of beingness.
Rather than feeling like, and now I need to relax to achieve that, because then we're still in the striving and not in the being still.
Thank you, thank you. So the relaxingness, the striving. Thank you, Andra.
Mm.
Thank you.
That's
And not
good.
in the being, not in the being. And that's what we need to cultivate in our society. The being, when you're not in the being, you're not feeling. You're
Right.
not connecting to your body.
You're
You're not
disconnected.
feeling. You're disconnected. You're disconnected. And going back to the relaxing, saying, oh, I'm just going to go and relax, that's not connecting you to your beingness,
It's a
right?
mask.
It's a mask. Yes, it's a mask. It's a
Mm.
mask. So
And we've
beingness,
tricked ourselves into believing that
that
we're
is
more
relaxing.
connected,
Yeah, yeah, and
but
that
we're
is
still
connected.
disconnected.
Correct. Correct.
So, isn't the true,
Correct.
I wonder, isn't the true challenge then getting intimate
Mm-hmm.
with ourselves then?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And also I'm thinking a little bit of like around trust and around maybe resistance around maybe prayer or meditation and
Mm-hmm.
letting go of control or like how do we move past some of that resistance, because I think or to be able to hone into this space of intimacy, because I think if we can that piece, then I think with what you're going to say right now or we're going to say, I'd like to stay there, because then I think we can absorb what you're going to say afterwards more with more
Mm-hmm.
potency.
Mm-hmm. So creating intimacy with yourself, it's so, I think is the root of all of this, right? Is the root of all of this. So being comfortable with being by yourself and with yourself, it can be very daunting and difficult for women. But if we cultivate the willingness just to sit by yourself, with yourself, even if it's for a minute, is the start to create intimacy. And if a thought goes by, not judging the thought. Oh my God, why am I thinking that? Oh my God, I'm such a horrible person, and so on. Just not judging yourself for every single little thing that you think or that you do, and also cultivating compassion toward yourself. Oh, you had that judgmental thought. Okay, just let it be. Surrender to that thought. That doesn't mean that you're judgmental, right? And when you start listening to your thoughts and having compassion, that's the start for intimacy, for true intimacy,
Mm-hmm.
for true intimacy.
And then we get intimate with source, so then that's the next piece.
The next piece with source. So you sit still and you listen. So when you listen, and it comes from, and I'm pointing towards here, right? Because it's our center, right?
The heart.
Uh,
Yeah.
in our heart,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. So you sit, you put one hand in your belly and one hand in your heart, and you sit still and you close your eyes and you have a couple of breaths. Let's do that. Without judging yourself, without any expectation, just sitting still, just you and the space that surrounds you and the space that is within you. And you stay there for as long as you can. And whatever arises, you don't judge that. That's not your job. Your job is just to feel. And when we do that, and we do that regularly, you're going to start feeling sort of an energy around you and within you. And that is source. And it's also surrendering that you are source, that we are source. We don't want to hear that. But if you surrender to that belief that we are source, you are, I am, and when you sit still and you had just a tiny little voice or a tiny feeling about something, that is source talking, and that it's you receiving. And it's so important that we learn to receive whatever arises, non-judgment. And when you have that instinct that something says, oh, you should do that, you should try this, don't be afraid, try that. You've been wanting to have a flower shop for such a long time, try that. Just trust that. I know that that's source talking to you directly. There's nothing to be afraid. You're going to be just fine. And if nothing arises, if no comment, not word, not conversation, that's fine. You can be absolutely intimate with you and source in the perfect silence. Because silence is perfect. And so are you. Yeah.
And I'm sure for those that did that with us, like feeling this like light or this expansiveness, this openness, a freedom. It's really a freedom.
A freedom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm curious about two things. One is, what if somebody's resistant, like I'll circle back around to the question, like resistant to religion or prayer, or has kind of mixed up, tangled experiences with that, or fighting against, that maybe prevents them from having this new relationship to source or this connection to source, with openness, with willingness, with intention. How do we navigate that if any of that resistance consciously or unconsciously comes up?
Right? Source, whatever we decide for ourselves or we were raised to believe that source is, then just connect to that. And if you still have resistance to that,
or trusting it.
Or trusting it, or trusting it because of the circumstances that you were in, let's say in a particular religion, I will say that start with awareness. I know it's going to sound like, what, awareness, what? Yeah, it does. Reading books, talking to other people that probably has the same inkling towards, I don't feel comfortable with this religion, but I don't feel comfortable with that, but I don't know how to go about and do this or that. I feel that looking for groups, I don't know if that ever helped you. For me, it helped reading and being open and keeping an open mind, that because you had that particular experience, it does not means that you can connect to source. Because, okay, so here's the thing, you're connected to source no matter what. We are source. We are connected. It's the illusion that we're not connected.
Right.
However you decide to express, it's completely by choice. Sometimes not by choice because you're raised in households where you are imposed to practice a particular religion, for example. But if you're an adult and you still are uncomfortable, let me just tell you right there, you are connected to source. Now it's a matter of finding what feels right for you. For some people is connecting with the goddess. For some people is connecting with the male version of God. If they want to consider God a male, that's okay. And we need to respect what everyone chooses. I choose to be inclusive of everything.
Hence your experience. I know for me, I went to a Catholic school, but they really encourage encouraged us in world religions
Yeah,
and so for me, I was exposed to a bunch of things that really resonated with me because I think really at the core of each of them is really the root of it anyways.
it's
You know,
love.
it's just the human
Yeah.
construct in these different
Yes.
paths that lead to the same place, which is not outward but inward and deep, and
Yeah.
which is really spirituality. And
It's
so
spirituality. Yeah.
and I love that you mentioned like take the things that fit for you that resonate with you. And what a metaphor I use is like a smorgasbord. You know, like take the pieces that you like, leave the rest, and like have
Yeah.
that be your own religion, your own spiritual relationship that is tailored to you, and that gives you a sense of empowerment.
Yeah. Yeah. Make it your own. For example, sometimes I refer to God as He when
Mm-hmm.
I need that male energy, you know, yeah. And sometimes, like, I have my Kuan Yin in the back
Mm-hmm.
and my Mother Mary, and I'm inclusive of all of them. And for
Of the
at least for me,
surrender, of the
surrender.
intuition, the nurturing,
Yeah,
that
the nurturing and all of that. So for me, I made my own religion.
yeah.
You know, for me, source is neither male or female. Sometimes we need these archetypal energies, and when I need them, I call in for them and make it your own. But it took me some time, to be honest with you, even though I was raised in a place where in a place that everything was inclusive. Still, for me, it took me some time just to say, okay, then, so I'm gonna have Mother Mary and I'm gonna have Kuan Yin, and knowing that is the same
It's all connected.
beautiful, exactly, archetypal, beautiful mother energy. But I get it. It takes time, one step at a time, one
Yes.
loving step at a time.
So, how can we determine what is a distraction and what is an opportunity, and what is our soul's yearning? How can we discern between those things more clearly?
Yeah, for me, it's intuition,
Ing,
in,
inner guidance
in,
system
in,
slash. Yeah.
yes, intuition,
Yeah. Intuition.
intuition. Yes, absolutely. If there's something, a situation, you sit still, you connect to source, and if it feels like awesome, do it. Yes, it makes your heart, swollen and happy and grateful and all of that, and you feeling is key, that it will be a wonderful opportunity, or that it's time to move on from a relationship, or time to move on from a job and just go on in your life's path, and it feels yummy and it makes you happy, and you feel that it's a yes, then go with that.
Mm.
And I say the opposite.
Yes.
If you feel constricted, if you feel like, oh my God, what am I going to do? All of these negatives, I don't know if it's going to be the right time, although we have fear, but it's very different from feeling, I don't think this is for me. Like
Right.
sometimes when I'm invited to speak, if it doesn't feel right for me, I won't speak. I won't go to a particular event and speak. It has to feel aligned, in
Right.
alignment with me. It has to feel that I'm going to be speaking from a place of truth, and love. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and those are my guiding points. If it feels that it's truthful and that it's loving and that it's a
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
then you know that you are in the right path.
Right, right. Because I think that that's, even just thinking about the nature of this summit, I really
Yes.
reflected like over months, really, like, really like listening to what is it that needs to come through, or what is it that, what message needs to be heard, and how can it be even the focus of it, how can it be articulated in a way that it draws in those people that need to hear it the most, and like who do I want to bring in that I think is going to add value to that. So it was just really, and really sitting in the question was somewhat uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, right.
Like I got to figure it out. It was like the power of feminine vulnerability, and I came up with a tagline, and then it was like, and I came up with all these, and really, you know what? Now in retrospect, it's really all the same thing.
Right?
It's all the same thing.
That's
But
amazing.
but really like sitting in the question, and like what is the yes? Like what is that? And I think that patience, is
Oh,
something so important for us to
yes.
sit in, and that really lets us know what is, because if it's not in alignment, then it's not going to work out anyways.
Ooh, can I say something? Oh,
Yes, go for it.
oh my God. Women in business. Oh, if you have to wait, wait. If you have to have patience, have patience. Because what happened is because we have to make it going, we have to go, 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 we have to put something out, we have to go, 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 go. Sometimes we do things out of alignment. And it's so hard to put something out there that is not in alignment, not with time, not with the right people, and that you're rushing absolutely everything. And also, you need to understand that we are in a path of self discovery. And if something is not in alignment, so okay, let me pause. What's happening here? Why I don't feel in alignment with this project and why I want to force it, right? Power versus force. Am I forcing something or am I going to do this project from a place of love and power?
Right.
And sometimes that takes time and we have to be patient and we have to be like, oh no, let me hold up for a moment, because I want to create this project and it needs to go out, but from a place of love, of service, of empowerment,
Mm.
of pure power. And power is not a bad word.
Mm-hmm.
Power is not a bad word. When it comes from within, power is, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty, yes,
And it's
it's,
not from
people can
word. Did
see
I
it.
understand that right? Like it's not from, clarify that. Like it's not
So
from word, but it's from a different power.
intention,
Ah,
intention. The
mm,
power needs to come from a place of love and intention,
intention.
not from a place of words. Yes.
Right. Or forcing or
Of
making
forcing.
happen or
Yeah.
proving or
They're
doing,
very masculine. Yeah.
Right, but from
Yeah.
intention. And then when we
Mm.
hold that space, the universe supports us and actually makes us in flow and synchronicity as opposed to feeling like a salmon swimming upstream.
Exactly. Then you're supported. Then you're
Yes.
supported in your project. Then you're supported if you want to buy a new home. Then you're supported. You are supported because you're coming from a place of power, intention, love, and
Mm,
in alignment with yourself.
yes.
And oh my God, I forgot a word that I wanted to say. Truthful with what you're doing instead of forcing. And I see many people forcing a persona instead of being the person that they want to bring forth into the world. Don't force anything. You are who you
You
are.
are beautiful. You are perfect. You are brilliant, bold, beautiful.
Yes, exactly. Like
Already.
I'm here with yes, I'm here with Andrea with my accent. I have to embrace it. And
Yes.
my message have to be heard whether I have an accent or not, for example. You
Yes.
know, yes, just go with love, intention, and power, and the world is gonna listen. But if you go forcing a persona or forcing a project, and because you want to prove a point, because you want to prove this to this
People
person,
see that. People feel
people see
that. People
that.
don't like, and then they don't. It actually
They don't
repels.
connect.
It repels. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Ends up hurting, and then the whole beautiful
Yeah.
intention behind it gets lost,
Yes.
which is the sad part, right? So
And we need you.
we
We
need
need us.
you.
Yes.
Yes, yes, we need your
Yeah.
light. We need
Yes.
your
We need your
truth.
yes.
We're waiting for you.
Yeah. We need the alignment. Please,
Yes,
alignment with who you truly are. With
absolutely.
who you truly are. That's what we need. We don't need the person that you think someone else's think you should be.
Or that you'll get a like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, thank you for saying
Yes.
that. Or that you get a like.
Just
Look.
be good at being you, and you are enough, which I think comes circles back around to the first question, and is that
Yeah.
you're enough, and just embracing that.
Yes. You are enough.
And as soon as,
Yes.
and I'm sure, like, for everyone on the call hearing that, if you sit still with it, there's a
Mm.
deep knowing inside that
Hmm.
knows that that's the truth.
Oh, yes. Beautiful.
Mm.
Beautiful.
So, unfortunately, this conversation was it has to wrap up, and it was so valuable. And so, But any takeaways that you want to make sure that people walk away with? And I know you have a free gift to offer our community, so that is on here. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the gift is a meditation. It's the heart gaze meditation. While we sit still, speaking of sitting still, right? Listen to that meditation and have the meditation take you to the journey, through the journey of creating that intimacy with your heart and just gazing at your heart and gazing all of the wonderful things that abides in your heart. Your heart will never, ever, ever will lead you astray. And I love Rumi, and
I do too.
right, oh, he's so
Mm.
amazing. And he has a wonderful quote that says, "You go to room, looking for the necklace that is already around your neck." And I feel that for us, for women, we just go,
Because we're relational.
yeah, relational, right? And that's wonderful because it takes us to so many beautiful places. But also the downsides with that is we look for approval a lot. And we don't think that we're enough. And we want that man to like us, or that girl to like us, or that person to like us. Am I doing enough? Am I? You are enough. You are that necklace that already sits in your neck. And it's a beautiful piece of jewel. You are what you're looking for. You are all of the questions that you're looking, all of the questions that you go around. Am I beautiful? Am I enough? Am I think none of that matters. You are enough. Everything that you've been looking for, it's within you. And no one can take that away from you. Absolutely no one.
Mm. And no one can give you that validation that will fill
Thank
whatever that is.
yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Only,
Yes.
because it's already there. There's
It's already
nothing. There's
there.
nothing broken.
There's nothing broken. That necklace, it's placed already there. You were born with that.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
wonderful. Thank you so much. So I
Thank
will include
you.
that free gift that you've been so generous to give our audience, and so generous with this conversation and with these words of wisdom. This was a really beautiful exchange. I think it was very powerful and purposeful and very intentional all the way around. And there are a lot of nuggets in this conversation. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.